What if your journey through Peru wasn't just a trip, but a way to connect deeply with its land, its history, and the people who bring it to life? In this episode of Stories Across South America, Maria sits down with Antonella from Belmond, Peru, to take us on a journey through Peru that moves at a different rhythm. Together, they explore a slower, more meaningful way to travel. From peaceful mornings in Lima to luxury train rides across the Sacred Valley and stargazing over the Lake Titicaca. If you have ever dreamed of a trip that feels timeless, personal, and full of soul, this conversation will speak to you. Let's dive in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Stories Across South America, our podcast where we are interviewing and having these relaxed and amazing conversations with our favorite partners around South America. And today I'm really happy and excited to introduce Antonella. Antonella is the sales director for Belmond Trains in Peru. And so this is really exciting because the Belmond is one of our favorite experiences, and it's definitely an authentic and fantastic journey that, well, with the train and the properties that Antonella will share today with us. So welcome, Antonella. Tell us a bit more about the Belmond and why is it described as journeys through time. The Belmond combines luxury with authenticity, but we often hear about the Belmond being a way of traveling back in time. So welcome and tell us a bit more about this concept.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this invite. And of course, I'm always very excited to talk about Belmond and our trains and properties in South America. Peru is located in the central part of South America, and our country has the chain of the Andean Mountains, which is a very particular geography in the area. Peru in general has a coastal line, the Andean Mountains, and then the rainforest. So it's a full destination itself. If you want to stay 21 days, 30 days, you have things to do everywhere. But our portfolio basically is in the south part of the country. We have 6 properties and 2 luxury trains. And what it's amazing about Belmond is that whenever there's a Belmond property or service, there's something extraordinary around. So that's the first thing I have to say.
I love that. I love that. We were discussing before we started this conversation, Antonella, about how it's frequent that travelers, when they think of Peru, they obviously think of Machu Picchu. And we wanted to explore a bit more about how, like you were saying, you can spend 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks in Peru, and you have plenty of things to do. So let's journey through Peru with Belmond and let our community learn about how they can experience Peru and what else they can see. I mean, obviously, Machu Picchu is the highlight.
It is. So, yes, no doubt, Machu Picchu is a highlight. It's one of the 7 wonders, and it's a must-see if you come to Peru. But there's more than Machu Picchu in the country. I would like to describe a little bit, like how can a journey in Peru be? First, starting with most international flights arrive to Lima. So Lima is the capital of Peru. We have a very nice property in front of the Pacific Ocean. So I would suggest like a couple of days in Lima, because Lima has all the colonial heritage from the Spanish period of the country. So it's interesting in that sense. And the other thing I would say is don't miss the gastronomy. Peruvian gastronomy is becoming very, very well known around the world. Very nice prices, Michelin-starred restaurants, and they are very close to our property in Lima. So that's a must. And Then I would say with a 1 hour flight, you arrive to Cusco. And in the city of Cusco, we have two iconic properties. One is Monasterio, which is a former monastery of the 17th century that belonged to the Jesuits in those days. And the other one is a convent right next to it, which is very curious because, well, that's how the Spanish culture used to set their Catholic churches and convents one next to another with a small church in the middle. They say they have a tunnel like beneath that little church that separates the properties, but I cannot assure that. I cannot say, but it's very interesting. The properties have been refurbished in a very, very, like, you go back in time when you into the properties.
Mm-hmm.
And then the city of Cusco offers a lot of, you can walk around. It's a very small but cosmopolitan city. Like, you walk through streets, everything is walking distance in the city to start with. And then you hear French, Portuguese, Spanish, English. Like, it's super nice to have this cosmopolitan spirit around the city. And then what I would suggest, because sometimes people are a little bit scared of altitude, what I would suggest, it's going after the city of Cusco, going to the Sacred Valley, which is this beautiful valley in between the city of Cusco and Machu Picchu, and it's lower in altitude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And since you mentioned, Antonella, because this altitude issue, which is something that a lot of people ask about, and it's definitely something to think about when you plan a trip to Peru. We always recommend going to the Sacred Valley before people go to Cusco, and that's what you were mentioning here. Both properties in Cusco, they have oxygen, right? Extra oxygen in the properties. That is something, well, most people don't know about. It's good to mention because it's related to the well-being and the safety of their guests, right?
Yeah, and in order to enjoy the rest of your trip, that maybe 1 or 2 weeks, it's better to take it a little bit slow, at least the first day. I know, as when I'm a tourist and I'm visiting a new city, it's like the first day you want to enjoy everything. But I would strongly suggest leave the pisco sour for the second or for the second day, and just take it a little bit slow the first day on food and beverages. And if you have a little bit like a sense of headache or that may happen because of the altitude, just you can request some oxygen. We have it in all our properties and as well as in the trains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. Be careful with the pisco sour and also with the food, seafood. I mean, the culinary scene in Peru in general, in Lima, in Cusco, it's really amazing. But first days, take it easy because
it can be a little bit too much if you want to. If you, let's say, you come with a list of restaurants you want to visit and have lunch, dinner, maybe a little bit too much. So at least for the first couple of days, that's what I suggest, so you can enjoy the rest of it.
Yeah, it's a good recommendation because we forget when we're traveling. It's like you say, you want to do everything, try everything. It's better to take it slow and go one day at a time.
Yes.
We were talking about Lima properties, Cusco, and you said maybe going to Sacred Valley first. So there is another Belmond property.
We have another Belmond property, which is Rio Sagrado. It's a property like in the middle of the valley with a sense of a countryside, but just facing the river, facing the Andean mountains. It's very relaxing. It's a big property where you can walk around. You can unwind, sit there, enjoy with your book, watching the river or hearing this relaxing sound of the river. You have alpacas, llamas walking around the gardens. So they are very friendly animals, I must say. And this property, it's very friendly for families. I have to point out, because if you're traveling with children, they will enjoy like plenty of space to run here and there and feed the alpacas. It's very friendly for families.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree that it's a relaxed kind of countryside environment. It's beautiful. And the river, it's just so charming.
Exactly. Yes, and you can walk around. It's very interesting, the location of this property, because it is on the path of the. It's called Capacñan in Quechua, the language of the Andean people. Called, I was saying, Capacñan, and it's a trail that starts in the coastal side, goes all through the coast, and then to the Andes, and ends up in the rainforest. So our property there in the Sacred Valley, as I was saying, facing the the Urubamba River and the mountains, it's part of this Capacñan. So you can just step outside the property and you can walk right or left, and still you are completely immersed in that geography, in the local culture. It's very easy. It's interesting. Even if you don't want to walk, we have bikes, so you can take your bike and move around the area, which is just as incredible as it's a real culture, like living culture.
Hmm. Yeah, we were saying at the beginning, it's with the Belmond properties, and we are going to talk now about how we continue the journey with the trains. This way of traveling and slow a bit down, like enjoying a bit more of the local scene and getting to really connect with places and with the people. So this is what the Belmond offers, correct?
Exactly. We try to engage our guests into a slow travel culture, because everyone is so much in a hurry these days. I mean, everything, even when you travel, and if you have a full program packed of activities and things to do, then you really don't have the time to relax, to enjoy, and to remember. No, like 1 month in advance, you need to remember and enjoy those memories. This is a trip that you do, probably it's a once in a lifetime journey. I always say, like, enjoy every moment, have your itineraries with spaces to breathe, to enjoy, to just to walk around, and really set up in a slow travel motion.
Hmm. Yeah, especially if we are including properties like Belmonts, because, like you were saying, they are part of the history of the journey of Peru, right? Through the years. So if you are staying at one of the Belmont properties, it's like you really want to have some time to really understand where you are and how these places were part of the foundation of the country.
Exactly. And in each property, you since you have a history, in those times, like when the Spanish conquered Peru, they destroy some Inca monuments, and they built on top of that. So you have a history, like one layer on top of the other and on top of the other. So we have a very rich history in terms of time and the cultures that we have been through. So it's very interesting. We have tours in the properties. There's also history of the art that was left in these properties. We have more than 100 paintings in Monasterio property, for example, and each one has a special, very interesting history. So take the time. I would strongly suggest take time to make those tours and enjoy the properties itself.
Yeah, they are like little museums, right?
Exactly. Yes.
They're beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Antonella. So we are in the Sacred Valley now. We've been to Lima, Cusco. So what are the other journeys? We will be talking about the trains that Belmond has.
Yes, that's exactly the next step, I would say, on your trip to Machu Picchu. Maybe you can stay, like, first of heading to Machu Picchu. I have to say that staying in the Sacred Valley, I would suggest 2, 3, or 4 days, because there are many, many, many archaeological sites on the valley, on the surroundings, with different history. They were warehouse, they were sacred places, they were places to worship or extract water. There are many beautiful sites where you can see, and you can, as I was saying, you can also enjoy the living culture of dyeing with things of vegetables and everything. So maybe you can spend 2 or 4 days, take the Hiram Bingham train, which is our iconic train, luxury dining cars, heading to Machu Picchu. You can board the train in Ollantaytambo station, which is right in the middle of the Sacred Valley. Or if you come to Peru to do the visit between January and March, our train makes a stopover in Rio Sagrado, in the property. So it's, as we call it, from your room to Machu Picchu. It's like you step out of the property, board the Hiram Bingham, and head to Machu Picchu. That's amazing.
Just perfect. Yeah, the train station is right just outside the property, just walking a few steps from the property. So that's between January and March, you said?
Sorry, until the end of April.
Oh, okay. End of April. Okay.
End of April, yes.
Yeah.
And then from March to December, Hiram Bingham can depart from Poroy Station, which is, if you don't stay in the Sacred Valley, if you stay just in the city of Cusco, you have the Poroy Station, which is around 20 minutes in a transfer from the city. The train departs from there, makes a stopover in Ollantaytambo. If you are staying in the valley, you can board in Ollantaytambo and head to Machu Picchu train station, which is down the mountain, down Machu Picchu. So the experience in the Hiram Bingham, this may be a trip, it's a day journey, and this can be a trip of between 3 and 3.5 hours, more or less, depending where you board. And this train has two dining cars in a very, like, the luxury of the 1920s, evokes very Belmond in the design. Beautiful dining cars. We have everything included in the train. So a very extraordinary gastronomic experience. We have an open bar, and all the courses in the gastronomic experience brings you to a sense of the different parts of the country. Maybe you can have a truth ceviche, the truth typical from the Andes, the ceviche typical from the coastal part. So it's kind of a merge of these experiences. And then you can walk around in the second course to an Andean alpaca something and a dessert. So, and then you have an open bar and live music where you can also enjoy before or after dinner. So it really brings you to all our regions in the country, and in a very nice style, and a extraordinary, again, kind of service, because it's very Belmond. And here I would like to say that mixing Peruvian culture, we love people, we love talking to people, we love telling our stories, and mixing this, like, sense of caring our guests with nature, with history. It makes a very special Belmond style. That's a big difference.
Yeah. I was going to mention, Antonella, I was going to ask about the people who work in Belmond and the hosts and all the people that make these experiences possible. I was lucky to be on the Hiram Bingham just a couple of months ago, and everyone is so warm and caring, but in a really authentic way. So Peruvian people, they are so nice and beautiful people. And I think that this experience is of course, it's the history, it's the gastronomy, but the people who are engaged in making this possible, they are really passionate about Belmond as well. How do you feel about all of the hosts and people who are making these stories possible?
Well, all the crew has a very, let's say, I would say, they have a very particular sense of first of service, because that's Belmont in the first place. They are caring people. They have a very nice sense of sharing things, and at the end of the day, they feel like it's their achievement, their goal for the guest, to make the guest feel the best he can do, and also sharing his culture, his Andean stories, regional stories, even if it's about history, culture, even if you just ask for an address, or they are very, very caring, and they will take care of you. Definitely. That's a big difference, I would say, between choosing Belmont.
I can tell that's exactly how I felt. I think there is a sense of pride for those who are part of the Belmond family, and that it's something that guests can definitely experience and can feel the warmth of the people, but being engaged in the Belmond experience. So I can definitely say it's really part of the experience, of course. Antonella, we can either go one way, arrive in Machu Picchu with the Hiram Bingham, right? With the train.
Yes, it's a one-way journey, as I was saying. Then you arrive to Aguascalientes train station, and you, with our Belmont guide, like taking care of small groups of our passengers. Then you head up to Machu Picchu in a private bus for our clients, and then you make the visit of around 2.5 hours with a Belmont guide, explaining all the details and everything. And after that, if you want to relax, to refresh a little bit, we have a property, and I must say that is the only property on top of the mountain, right next to the entrance of the citadel. We have the Sanctuary Lodge, which is a very nice but small property, because remember, you're on top of the mountain. We can, our guests can sit, relax a little bit there before taking the bus down the mountain and taking the train back to the Sacred Valley or to the city of Cusco. I would suggest, of course, staying at least one night at Sanctuary Lodge, and you can also, that will also give you a facility which will be getting 2 entries to the citadel of Machu Picchu. Because in my experience, like entering at first light, like 6, 7 in the morning, it's completely different from getting into the citadel like at 2 p.m. where you have the golden hour. Especially if you are a fan of photography, I would strongly suggest one night stay in, and 2 entries to Machu Picchu. Yes.
Yeah. And just to our listeners, the Sanctuary Lodge, the Belmond property, is the only hotel located right next to the entrance of Machu Picchu. That's the old property. So if someone is looking to enjoy, like you were saying, be there first, to be the luxury of arriving first and getting the really nice photography shots, that's something that you can get when you're staying at the Sanctuary Lodge, right?
Yes, exactly. And I have to say that it's not in front of the citadel,
Mhm.
So from your room, it's not that you see the ruins,
Mhm.
but it's right next to the entrance. So it's kind of parallel, and the beautiful views of the mountains, all green, because Machu Picchu, it's going down in altitude. So it's like the start of the rainforest. It's a geography that it's very different from the one you see in the city of Cusco. So
Mhm.
staying there, it's very mystical, I must say, because getting this sense of the mountains, of the silence at night, the full stars, very clear stars at night, it's quite an experience.
Mhm.
This time, I suggest you stay at least one night.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason we were saying that 2 or 3 days is not enough. Like Peru, it's a huge country in terms of the beauty and the culture and the different landscapes. So, Antonella, tell us a bit more about the journey with Belmond, Peru, but the train that you can sleep and connect to other cities, because this is the one way to get into Machu Picchu, right? But there is more, right?
There is more, of course. Peru is not only Machu Picchu. I always say that it's the iconic side, but it's not only that. After your trip to Machu Picchu, as I was saying, you can go back to the city of Cusco and then head and to Puno, which is south from Cusco. And the iconic place to visit there is Lake Titicaca. So Belmont has a sleeper luxury train of amazing 35 cabins where you can enjoy. It's a full experience. Again, in this train, you don't have to worry about anything. All meals are included, 24 cabin service, open bars. We have live music, live piano music even, and a beautiful observatory, which is, I would say, well, it's my favorite place to be. And the observatory right next to the bar, perfect fit. So
Okay.
the journey with this train, you can depart from the city of Cusco. It departs in the morning and heads south of Cusco on the way to Puno, Lake Titicaca. So the first day, it's a full journey in the train, the Andean Explorer. We have some tours included as the archaeological site of Rachi, which is a ruin that is not so easy to visit, but with the train, it's super easy. It's on the way of the railways, so we make it super easy. Then we make another stopover in a certain point called La Raya, which is a very like iconic, nice place for photography as well. Amazing views, best views of the Andean mountains, covered with the snow. So super nice. And then you head to Lake Titicaca. No, we arrive at Lake Titicaca port at the end of the afternoon, and we have a nice dinner, some music on the bars and everything, and we invite our guests to the experience of stargazing, which is since you are in altitude, sky is perfect for this adventure. Very. And of course, you will have a drink, you will have a cognac, a whiskey, or a pisco, whatever you are up to. And then going back and sleeping in the train. We have different kind of three different kind of cabins. I must say, for couples, we have the suites, we have twin bed cabins, and we also have bunk bed cabins. So if you are traveling in a group of friends, so you can have twin cabins, but all our coaches have mixed type of cabins. So if you're a family traveling with kids, we don't have connecting cabins, but in each coach, we have a mix of cabins. So suites, bunks with twins.
Perfect. So we'll get to Titicaca. And is this the end of the journey?
And
Won't you
no,
keep traveling?
the journey takes 3 days and 2 nights. So that's the end of the first day. And the
Mhm.
second day, you wake up in Lake Titicaca. So we invite our guests to see the sunrise because
Mm.
it's a change of colors in the sky that it's amazing. And again, I like to say that it's an unforgettable journey. Of course, you would see changing colors from 1 minute to another. Of course, in a very nice fireplace out of the train with some tea, coffee, and a very light breakfast. And after that, we invite our guests for their full breakfast in the trains, in the dining cars of the trains, and then back to make the tours in the floating islands of Uros, which is one of the visits we do by motorboat. And then
Mm-hmm.
from Uros, we experience a little bit with the community. They explain how they rebuild their floating islands every 30 years. Very interesting and very particular culture. They even have another language, which is the Aymara. And then we move from Uros to Taquile Island, which is the biggest island in the lake. You know, Titicaca Lake is the highest navigable lake in the world. So it's this. This is a huge, huge island. It even has kind of beaches, and we have a very nice experience there where you can sit, relax, read your book, walk around, do paddle boarding with a wetsuit, and we have lunch in Taquile Island.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, going back to Puno Port and boarding the train again and heading to a point in the middle of Puno and Arequipa, which is the city of the final destination. We
Mm-hmm.
stop in a point in the middle called Saracocha. And we stop here because the views are amazing. There are two lagoons and with these beautiful mountains at the back. So we the second night you are also with the train still. You sleep with the train still, and we have very nice appetizers, then dinner. Then you can enjoy the live music, and we also can do stargazing here in this point. No?
Mm-hmm.
And then back to the train. And the third day we are heading to Arequipa city, which is our final destination. And in the middle, we can see from the observatory car or from any of our cabins, we can see these beautiful volcanoes, views of volcanoes. We see llamas, alpacas in their natural habitats. And we make a stopover in a place called Sumbai Caves, which is a small tour, but very interesting because these are paintings of 8,000 years ago. So we go with a Belmond guide and they explain a little bit of these paintings of alpacas, llamas, and typical animals in the area, and then back to the train. Maybe you can have a spa treatment. We have a coach with 3 cabins of spa treatments in the train. After all
Okay.
your program in
Yeah.
Peru, maybe you can relax there and have a little bit of a very
On
nice
board the train. So that the spa is on board the train. You just need to make a reservation or make sure that you have your massage booked. Right?
booked before leaving the train. Yes, and it's an amazing. I mean, you have big windows, and of course, you are in the middle of the Peruvian Altiplano. You just see alpacas and llamas and all the rest of the animals. So you won't miss any of the scenery while doing your massage.
Okay, that's the best massage of your life, I would say.
Yeah, memorable, of course.
Memorable, yeah. Okay, and where is this getting to? Where are we now arriving?
The final destination of the train, we arrive around 1 o'clock, around noon, to Arequipa, the train station in the city. We can leave our guests there if they are staying in Arequipa city, or we can leave with our transfers, our guests in the airport if they are heading to Lima. But if you have a little time before arriving to Arequipa city, around half an hour before arriving to the city, there's a stopover point for our guests that are going to the Colca Canyon. So you can get off the train in this point, and our transfers from Colca, our property in the canyon, Las Casitas, will take you to the property. It's around an hour drive because it's right in the canyons. So when you are sitting in the whole property or your individual casita, like little house with your fireplace and your private terrace and heated pool, is facing the canyon. So this is a beautiful experience. It's like the cherry on the toast to end your trip to Peru.
Yes, you can ask for more. So you could even journey with the train and finish in Arequipa, or for those who are interested in going to see the Colca Canyon, they can extend the trip and stay at Las Casitas, the other property from Belmond as well. Is that how it works?
Exactly. And what's the highlight there? The Colca Canyon, well, it's a beautiful canyon, views and everything. You can do trekking. There are many walks around. The iconic is to go to a point which is 15 minutes away from the property to see the flight of the condor. That's a highlight there. The condor, the biggest flying bird. No,
Yeah.
It's very impressive. Very, very impressive. So that's
they are just really close, and you can see them in the close distance. I mean, it's amazing.
It's amazing. Very close. We can even set up a breakfast for maximum 8 people because it's a very small place. That we can even set a breakfast there if the guests want to enjoy that while seeing the scenery. No, the condor in the middle of the Andean mountains. So if you have time, yes, add it to your program. It's beautiful.
No, it sounds amazing. So we've been journeying with you, Antonella, for the past, half an hour from Lima to Cusco, Sacred Valley, Aguas Calientes, Machu Picchu, Arequipa, Titicaca, Colca Canyon. We've been everywhere.
Yes. Too many things to see.
The whole itinerary with Belmond, it's really, you can go to different places and highlights in Peru and still be wow by all the
experiences you live. It's nature, it's culture, it's like pampering yourself in this slow travel motion. So very complete, I would say, for high expectations.
Yeah. I enjoyed traveling with you, and now I feel like I was going through in my head with all the images from these places, and I've been transported. So thank you, Antonella. It's been amazing. How would you describe in 3 words, if you have to choose 3 words, the experience, the Belmond experience?
Oh, it's very hard to say it, but I would say once in a lifetime journey.
Okay, I agree. I don't know if we have 3 words there. Okay. Can people expect from Belmond? Is something coming up new? Is there anything to Belmond? I mean, we've talked about many places and the food and the people and the music.
Well, there are many experiences that are part of each property that, of course, the property will offer. Just because we don't have enough time, but there's a first light experience in Sanctuary Lodge. Then you have, like, for example, cacao. It's has received many prizes. Coffee, I would say coffee and cacao in Cusco. So we have these kind of experiences if you want to try. We have cooking classes in Colca, like if you want to learn to prepare a ceviche or a special local quinoa dish or a pisco sour. We have also these special moments. We have an amazing experience with opera dinners in Monasterio, for example, in the same place where the monks used to have their dinners. So the acoustic, it's incredible. I mean, I've seen people with tears just because, it's so overwhelming that while you are having a very nice dinner, and then you have this opera there live, there are many of these unique experiences, I would say, that are part of our Belmond properties and experiences.
Yeah, wonderful. Antonella, thank you so much. Like I said, I've been traveling with you in the last half an hour, and it's been wonderful. I love how we can combine and create such a great journey in Peru with Belmond. So for our listeners and the community who is following these interviews, we can definitely create an itinerary combining all of these properties and adapt to different styles, like honeymooners or couples or group of friends or families with kids, like you were saying. There is plenty to explore with Belmond, and it's been a lovely journey listening to you with a lot of passion about all the experience in Peru. So thank you, Antonella. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate your time, and I'm sure that everyone will be now Googling Belmond and see what we've been talking about.
I hope. If you are having a celebration coming soon, think of Belmond, because we know perfectly how to celebrate your anniversary, wedding anniversary, whatever it is, but you will have a once in a lifetime journey, definitely.
Yeah, to celebrate life.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonella. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
If you loved this episode, you can subscribe to the podcast and share it with a fellow traveler, or why not, an entrepreneur. You can find us at across-southamerica.com and on Instagram at across-South-America. And if you're dreaming of your own handcrafted journey, reach out. We'd love to help. Gracias and see you soon. Nos vemos pronto, and let's keep the stories going.